Huawei Technologies Co., Ltd., is a Chinese multinational technology company headquartered in Shenzhen, Guangdong. It designs, develops, and sells telecommunications equipment and consumer electronics. The company was founded in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei, a former deputy regimental chief in the People's Liberation Army. Initially focused on manufacturing phone switches, Huawei has expanded its business to include building telecommunications networks, providing operational and consulting services and equipment to enterprises inside and outside of China, and manufacturing communications devices for the consumer market. Huawei has over 194,000 employees as of December 2019. Huawei has deployed its products and services in more than 170 countries and areas. It overtook Ericsson in 2012 as the largest telecommunications equipment manufacturer in the world, and overtook Apple in 2018 as the second largest manufacturer of smartphones in the world, behind Samsung Electronics. In 2018, Huawei reported that its annual revenue was $108.5 billion United States dollars. In July 2020, Huawei surpassed Samsung and Apple to become the top smartphone brand in the world for the first time. This was primarily due to a drop in Samsung's global sales in the second quarter of 2020, owing to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although successful internationally, Huawei has faced difficulties in some markets due to claims of undue state support, links to the People's Liberation Army, and cybersecurity concerns, primarily from the United States government, that Huawei's infrastructure equipment may enable surveillance by the Chinese government. With the development of 5G wireless networks, there have been calls from the US and its allies to not do any kind of business with Huawei or other Chinese telecommunications companies such as ZTE. Huawei has argued that its products posed no greater cybersecurity risk than those of any other vendor and that there is no evidence of the US espionage claims. Questions regarding Huawei's ownership and control as well as concerns regarding the extent of state support also remain. Huawei has also been accused of assisting in the surveillance and mass detention of Uyghurs in the Xinjiang re-education camps, which have resulted in sanctions by the United States Department of State. Huawei tested facial recognition AI capable of recognizing ethnicity-specific features to alert government authorities to members of the ethnic group. In the midst of an ongoing trade war between China and the United States, Huawei was restricted from doing commerce with US companies due to alleged previous willful violations of US sanctions against Iran. On 29 June 2019, US President Donald Trump reached an agreement to resume trade talks with China and announced that he would ease the aforementioned sanctions on Huawei. Huawei cut 600 jobs at its Santa Clara Research Center in June. And in December 2019, founder Ren Zhengfei said it was moving the center to Canada because the restrictions would block them from interacting with US employees. On 17 November 2020, according to technology blog Engadget, Huawei agreed to sell the Honor brand to Shenzhen Jixin New Information Technology to ensure its survival after the US sanctions against them. On July 23, 2021, Huawei reportedly hired Tony Podesta as a consultant and lobbyist, with a goal of nurturing the company's relationship with the Biden administration. According to the company founder Ren Zhengfei, the name Huawei comes from a slogan he saw on a wall. Zhonghua Yuwei, meaning, China has promise. When he was starting up the company and needed a name, Zhonghua or Hua means China, while Yuwei means promising, to show promise. Huawei has also been translated as splendid achievement or China is able, which are possible readings of the name. In Chinese pinyin, the name is Huawei and pronounced in Mandarin Chinese. In Cantonese, the name is transliterated with Jutpeng as Wa4Y4 and pronounced. However, pronunciation of Huawei by non-Chinese varies in other countries. For example, Huawei, in Belgium and the Netherlands. The company had considered changing the name in English out of concern that non-Chinese people may find it hard to pronounce, but decided to keep the name. and launched a name recognition campaign instead to encourage a pronunciation closer to Huawei, using the words Huawei. During the 1980s, the Chinese government tried to modernize the country's underdeveloped telecommunications infrastructure. A core component of the telecommunications network was telephone exchange switches, and in the late 1980s, several Chinese research groups endeavored to acquire and develop the technology, usually through joint ventures with foreign companies. Ren Zhengfei, a former deputy director of the People's Liberation Army Engineering Corps, founded Huawei in 1987 in Shenzhen. The company reports that it had RMB 21,000 in registered capital from Ren Zhengfei and 5